Hugh Freeze should talk more. Hugh Freeze and John Cohen should talk more. Hugh Freeze, John Cohen, Connor Liu, Keldrick Falk, and Jackson Arnold should all talk more.
Sure.
This is a brand new Village Vice. He's Zach Blackerby. I'm Brad Law. Zach looking sharp in his Nike. Let me give you a fair warning. Can I put this disclaimer out? If you don't want full boog levels, you better pull the throttle back now.
I can't wait to hear what you're about to. Yeah. Okay. So what are we about to boog about? What has happened to make you want to boog?
Well, first of all, Coach Freeze and John Cohen talked last night before the ambush event. And I think what they said, again, falls right in line with what they've been saying, which shows their consistency. It also falls in line with what other SEC coaches, including coaches that you wouldn't necessarily call allies otherwise, had to say during their time at Media Days yesterday, which further goes to
did you hear, we all assume there's some schools that they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear what Kirby said this morning about it when he was asked about it?
No, tell me what Kirby said. I was following all the Auburn.
He phrased it as you have to strategize to beat your opponent. You've got to find whatever, way you can to win. So he's just out strategizing the opponent is his approach.
Interesting.
And he had he said, he listed all these great players and he's like, you come to Georgia and make $200,000 and yada, yada. And I'm like, I looked at the people next to me and I'm like, no one's looking around at this.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like nobody's, we're just let him do that. Okay. All right. Got it.
Number one, and you know this because you're in the middle of it, half of them people there's on autopilot anyway.
It's easy to be on autopilot when some of these guys talk, 100%.
Yeah, so half of them are on autopilot anyway. And another good chunk of them flat out don't care what the coaches are saying. They're either making a post or they're writing an article or they're not. They don't care. It's not about the substance.
It's a lot of tweeting what they just said. And I'm like, that's not how people use Twitter anymore. But okay, go ahead.
Right. Yeah. You should teach a class before Greg Sankey or anybody else comes. They ought to have you at the lectern for about 10 minutes just to tell everybody this is what we do, this is what we don't do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no expert, but I am an avid Twitter user. So I do feel like I could talk on that front.
Well, it is interesting. We talked about this a little bit, or at least touched on it last week. Coaches that would comment on NIL, rev share, third party, all this, and the ones that didn't, and what they said would be awfully telling.
Yeah, no, that's lined up. That's lined up so far for sure. For sure.
So that was my first reason for being in full boog mode, FBM, was that.
Now the issue with that is what I've said from the get-go. Like this can be true, but if there's no enforcement, then it still doesn't matter.
Which I thought John Cohen even more emphatically and even more aggressively, confidently made the point last night that if things pivot from an enforcement perspective, Auburn will pivot. We've got a plan.
No, they had a few good quotes that in real time when I was there, I'm like, oh, that's going to be on a graphic somewhere.
Yeah.
And one of which he was asked about that. He's like, Auburn's going to do what it takes to win. Auburn's going to do what it takes. And I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, John Cohen. Look, John Cohen's impressed me. There was a few things about last night. And I think what happened, last night in the closed local media thing was way more important than what happened at Media Days today.
I agree.
But,
for some things,
there were two fascinating moments. One was like, we're wrapping up. Butch Thompson talked first. I'll talk more about Butch in a second because I thought that was super interesting. Yeah. And then Hugh talked for like 20 minutes. And then we're like getting our stuff and packing up. And John Cohen's in the back of the room and he's like, I'll talk if y'all want. We're all like, yeah, we'd love for you to talk because, there's, we can get more info on all this. Just offer that up. I mean, he's the kind of dude who, like, when he enters the room, like, if he wants it, the room is his.
Sure.
And, I mean, I don't think that comes with title. I think that comes with stature and overall ability and confidence. Like, that's a dude. I mean, he's won me over. Like, now, if he's wrong on this and doesn't pivot, then I think there's a conversation to be had. But, like, he seems prepared. He seems prepared for sure.
Even that if, though, seems so unlikely because they discussed pivoting. They discussed the fact that there is a pivot point
Almost
ready.
to the point, Brad, where I think they're planning to have to pivot.
Correct. Well, yeah, you always that's what your contingency is. You don't just have a plan B from an outline perspective. Plan Bs and contingency are rehearsed and practiced, and you're ready to implement them as if it's plan A. So yeah, I thought that was impressive. I think that John Cohen operates from a platform of transparency. And we know that Hugh Freeze operates from a platform of transparency. Like the lectern behind which he stands daily is sometimes overly transparent or overly candid.
Yeah.
And so at a time that it would have been easy and understandable and probably expected to not seek the opportunity to speak, John Cohen did just the opposite, which leads into the clear message I thought from Hugh Freeze today.
Okay.
And it's one that it changed the way that I'm going to talk about this season. And that is Hugh Freeze in a time when it would be easy and understandable to hedge a little bit on expectations. Didn't hedge at all. He didn't hedge at all, man. He was asked about expectations, and he said the word playoff. And
multiple times.
Yeah. He didn't mean like Auburn as a program as we build it beyond this year should be there. He talked about this version of the Auburn Tigers, this year's team, winning close games and being in the playoff discussion.
Yeah, pretty wild stuff. And like, what exactly does that mean? Like, does that just mean playing irrelevant games in November? Possibly. But it is a different stance because I do think he's hedged since he's been here. And I mean, he said it a ton last night. He said it a ton throughout. He actually even warned us last night. He's like, tomorrow at media days, you're going to hear me say how much I love this team and love this roster. And he was right. Now it's kind of, the what they said over and over and over again. And just talking to like people throughout the SEC, like everybody knows about the receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think everybody knows about the offensive line and the defensive backfield. And when I explained to them like that stuff, like you can kind of see they're like, they're thinking a little bit like, oh, interesting. And they're like typing on their computer while they're interviewing me. And I'm like, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. Like Xavier Chaplin showing up in mock drafts. Interviewed Connor Liu earlier today. Like he's showing up in mock drafts. And then, I'm a Jay Crawford truther through and through. But like you look at his numbers, you look at Kay and Lee, like it's easy to see like all these position groups where it's easy to not look at other teams' units that, aren't as flashy as receiver and quarterback. But Auburn is ready to compete. I on paper. Now there's still several questions that Jackson Arnold has to click. Hugh Freeze's offense has to click. You're going to need some help in some situations, but will Auburn play a relevant game in November this year for the first time in a while? Goodness gracious, I hope so.
Yeah, I just thought it was so telling that again, you might try to hedge a little bit, they didn't, and so I don't think fans should either. Like go forward. Yeah. If you want to be excited, be excited. I thought to drive this home, last year. He made the statement today about the offensive line. He said it's the best offensive line. He feels like it could be the best offensive line he's coached. I heard him say that at an event. I'm glad he said it publicly today. He said it at a private sponsor event 6 weeks ago. And when he said it, I thought, oh, that's juicy. I wonder if he's going to say that publicly before the season. And now he has. So you throw that out there. Right. So I contrast that with last year before the season started. And he said this publicly. He was like, if there's an area that we're worried about a little bit that we still want to see come on, it's tackle. It's the tackle spot. And again, in true truth and candid Hugh Freeze form, what he was saying was exactly right. There was reason to say that. This year, The biggest question in terms of X's and O's,
Yes,
behind quarterback play, which is always that, but
sure.
is the play of the new or of the 6 interior defensive linemen. The other positions he was glowing about. He glowed about the receivers, glowed about the offensive line, glowed about, and specifically, like he didn't just say we're better at linebacker, better in the secondary, better. He said we're deeper at linebacker, we're faster in the secondary. So specific ways that these positions have improved. The only position that was a question mark was the defensive line, and could those 6 fill the role that they need them to play? Can the freshmen be impact freshmen?
Yeah.
Can the sophomores take the step forward? And then can the new veteran transfers embrace the role of 15 to 20 snaps a game?
I tell you what, though, Brad, I got about like 8 minutes with Keldrick earlier today. Talked to him a year ago at Media Days and just, seeing his press conference stuff. It's a totally different kid.
Yeah.
I mean, just a totally different guy.
Our friend Taylor from the next round texted me not 20 minutes ago the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And you didn't know that. I didn't tell you that before.
No,
we
you didn't.
This. Yeah. So multiple people are having the same conversation.
There's I haven't posted it anywhere yet, but when it happens, I'll send it to you. But I asked, like, you're getting all this pub, mock drafts and top 5 player in the SEC or whatever. And I think I said something about like pointing out his success and like what it means to, come to Media Days twice in a row. And he kind of paused and he smiled and he's like, must be doing something right. I loved it.
That's pretty good. That's about as big of a pat on the back as he's ever going to give himself too. So that's pretty great.
What a great personality moment. He's always, I mean, you can tell that he's got the humility and desire to continue to grind and build and develop as a player and as a man. But he's also like aware of the journey that he's been on. In the main room, he was asked by Brian Matthews, I think, of like, how would you be, how is Keldrick now versus like 2 years ago? Maybe it was Philip Marshall that asked questions. Doesn't matter. But he's like, oh, you wouldn't recognize Keldrick as a freshman. I'm a different player. And it's like, yeah, like it's true.
Yeah.
And everybody answers that differently, but like just this quiet confidence. Like those are the guys that mess you up. Like the opposing team. I'm like, and Connor Liu talked about blocking Keldrick or whatever. And I'm like, there's going to be tackles that just can't block this guy.
Yeah.
That like, he's going to, we talked about that with Derek Brown at times in the 2017 season. Right. And like, he had Marlon to, help kind of take, some of the attention off. And I think Keldrick's going to have Kieran and maybe even Malik Blockton. But like, there's going to be teams that Auburn plays this year, assuming no injuries happen on the defensive line. Because like when we talk about the questions of the D-line, it's not the starters, it's the depth. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be teams that have issues blocking Keldrick. And it's going to be awesome to watch from our point of view.
No question. And it's going to create opportunities for other guys on the defensive line. Correct. Too, whether it's the opposite end or if you double team and leave somebody open up the middle. Somebody asked specifically about Jordan Crawford. Hugh Freeze with unexpected, like he went beyond what I thought was going to be his praise. He was asked, have you ever had a guy that could be as impactful as him as a freshman up front? And he's like, yeah, I don't think I could say that I have. Maybe Robert Kimdichie. That's the name. That's the name we're pulling out. Not that they're apples to apples comparisons, but in terms of explosion and impact.
Like you take that. You take that for sure.
We've been talking about Malik Autry. We've been talking about Malik Autry now, so it's Autry and Crawford side by side as part of that 6-man road. That's when you remember what Malik Blockton did his freshman year. Think about now you got 2 of them. Come on.
Have you seen the clip of like how Malik Autry got done dirty in the new college football video game?
No, I haven't.
He's like a twig. He looks like so tiny.
Oh,
It's like, why did they do this to our guy?
little detail, what, did one of the SEC network personnel like put that together? Come on, you got to pay attention to detail.
Yeah,
got to pay attention. All right. A couple of other takeaways, Zach, but first I would like you to tell the people about Rowback.
Yeah, we'll row back on the way up here because it's so comfortable, and I wanted to look nice, kind of getting here and checking in and all that. So head over to rowback.com, use promo code VICE20 to get 20% off your order. Rowback.com, they've got all the collared shirts, all the quarter zips, all the performance hoodies, all at rowback.com.
Love that Hugh Freeze is talking about making adjustments. Somebody asked him a question about hurry up, no huddle offenses and how those have evolved and changed and the need to adapt and change. He talked about those psychological evaluation personality tests and the need to adjust or change. And what was most exciting to me, Zach, was when he talked about the wide receiver room, talking about scheming to get the ball to those guys, not randomly, not haphazardly, but scheming to get guys the ball. This, to me, signals some adaptation, and it's a really positive thing for the fall.
Yeah. Daryl asked them about even using tight ends.
Yeah.
And I'm actually shocked at this answer. Where he finished the question, he's like, "Yeah, no, we're gonna run more receiver sets."
Yeah.
Which makes sense on paper. But one of my criticisms of Freeze has been it kind of seems like he's going to do the same thing no matter what his roster is.
Yeah.
And this is him adjusting.
Mm-hmm.
And you arguably one of the best and most dynamic and deeper positions as receiver. And you've got an opportunity to play less of maybe your most shallow position at tight end. And okay, this makes sense. And then it's just we've speculated and almost dreamed a little bit of this, but you can do a 4 wide receiver set where you've got your running back next to Jackson.
Yeah.
And then your outside guys, Cam Coleman and Horatio Fields. And then your slot guys are Eric Singleton and Malcolm Simmons. Oop. Jackson Arnold, 25-yard touchdown pass to your choice, Brad. Go.
Arnold drops back. He looks long. He's looking for Fields. He's got it. Milkshakes for Jackson. It had been a while.
Yeah, you thought I forgot.
I'm glad I didn't forget. No, I think we did that well.
I think it's fitting with Jackson going today.
Media Day milkshakes for Jackson. So, no, I did. I love them. I was going to mention the tight end question specifically and the fact that he said he hadn't played 10 personnel in 5 or 6 years, but you could see that this year. You mentioned Horatio Fields. He singled him out by name either last night or earlier today, saying don't forget about him.
Well, Jackson kind of propped him up.
Yeah. So I think that's great. He was asked a question, some of the other takeaways, this may have been last night or today, but about running back by committee versus having a bell cow. And he mentioned running back by committee he was happy with that. Be great if somebody stepped up, but he's fine with running back by committee. So, those were all things that I love the actual X and O information that you can sometimes mine out of this event. And we got some of it.
Yeah, no, and that was Daryl's question too from last night. And I thought that was great. And, this might be me reading too much into an answer. And if it is, tell me. But he said, when he was listening to running backs, he's like, Damari, we haven't seen his potential yet.
Yeah.
And then, Jeremiah Cobb set for a breakout year. And then he's like, we haven't really seen him yet, but, the transfer from UConn, he could be good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did you forget Darrell's name?
Well, he said it today. He said it
a lot today. Yeah, I thought that was weird last night. I'm like, what? What's up with that?
He must have listened to Locked On this morning. He's like, no, I need to make sure I say the guy's name. So, no, he's I'm fascinated to see how those carries break out, how many carries, but what percentage of the offensive game plan is running back.
Yeah, and the difference for the first 3 games versus the last 3 games. What's that difference going to be? Yeah.
Yeah. And do we see Alvin Henderson at all? Or because he hasn't really been mentioned in any of these conversations.
No, I've heard Omar's name more than Alvin, which doesn't really make sense. I mean, I'm high on Omar Mabson, don't get me wrong, but I'm a little surprised by that for sure.
So I think it's been a very good day. And if you want to get excited, you got lots of material over which to be excited. Some things that confirm again that Auburn is aligned. You know, that word alignment is used a lot. Auburn is aligned in its recruiting plan, and Auburn seems to be anyway an appropriate level of hungry 45 days away from kickoff.
Yeah, no question. No question. And just an interesting observation. Maybe it's interesting. It's interesting to me.
Yeah.
One thing I always like to track is like, so the way it's set up in the main room and what they show on SEC Network or whatever is, you know, the coach at the podium.
Yeah.
There's lots of seats or whatever. I know the camera shots, you know, zoom in on the media member who's asking the question. But in the perimeter of the room, there's 3 like smaller podiums where, you know, when it's the players' window, that 10 to 15 minutes or whatever, they all stand there.
Yeah.
And normally, if there's 100 media members in there, 70 are on one player, then maybe 15 to 20 are on one, and then there's, you know, the remaining on, you know, usually like for the lineman or somebody who's there. And that it's been pretty lopsided, and that's year in, year out, pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Auburn's wasn't as drastic as, like, Jackson had the most, but Keldrick wasn't too far behind him, and then Connor had the least, which you know isn't surprising, I don't think, just nature of being an offensive lineman. But I thought that was interesting. Like, normally there's a clear 1, a clear 2, and a clear 3, and it was almost like Jackson had the most attention, but it wasn't by much. And so, like, Auburn bringing 2 stars, I think is a pretty cool note that I kind of wanted to end on and make sure it was mentioned today.
It confirms Keldrick Falk is a bona fide superstar for this program.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
He's not a very good player.
I think that should say something.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, Zach, we are Antonio Melendez days away from kickoff, in case you were wondering.
I love that. Elijah Melendez's brother.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. All right. I think that does it for today's show, my guy.
It does. Thanks everybody for watching. Listen, especially during media days, you got 4 million other things you could take in, and we encourage you to consume a lot of it. It's media days, for goodness sake. Football season's almost here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. We appreciate that too. Remember, until next time, everyone has vices. Make sure Village Vice is one of yours.